They told me that I would have to take pills for life. But I couldn't accept that that would be my only option. So I decided to try something else. 2 weeks later, my condition changed dramatically. No prescriptions, just a different approach. And that's when it hit me. Maybe I'm not the only one. Maybe we're not all sick. Maybe we're just stuck in a system that profits when we all stay that way. In this episode, I'm diving into something that affects everyone, your health, and the multi-trillion-dollar machine built around it. Let me tell you my story. So on April 6th, I got blood work done after my trip from Japan. In Japan, I was eating like crap. I'm talking about pasta. I would go to like the 7-Eleven and get anything in sight. After every single meal, I had dessert. One of the days that I went, and I literally had a strawberry shortcake for breakfast. Nothing nutritious at all. I was eating processed foods like there's no tomorrow. Japan is the food capital of the world, and all the places just taste so good. So when I would see places that have a huge line, of course, I get FOMO and I would do the line. Anyways, my results came back and they were so bad. I ended up coming back with hypothyroidism. My TSH level was a 10. To put it into perspective, you need to have, to be considered healthy or normal, a TSH of 0.4 or 4.5. Your thyroid is a small gland that is in your neck, and it's super important for women because it controls your hormones, your metabolism, temper, and obviously your energy. The TSH being at a 10, it was a sign that it wasn't working properly in my body. I'm not crazy, so I went to a doctor, a specialist, an endocrinologist. I probably just completely botched that name. He told me I had an autoimmune disease and that my body was attacking itself. He told me I needed to take levothyroxine for life, a pill that you never stop taking. You depend on it for the rest of your life. Sort of like once you start, you can't stop. What's even more wild is when I questioned the doctor, he said that I was crazy and that I should see a psychologist. All I did was, is there another option or another route that I can take instead of just like popping these pills from my first meeting? Like, are there any more results that I need to do? He was like, sweetie, if you cannot accept the fact that you have an autoimmune disease, then you should go see a psychologist. You know what I did next? So instead of popping pills, I decided to change my whole lifestyle. First, I started with food. I cut gluten, I removed seed oils and processed foods. And I replaced it with meat, fish, chicken, veggies, fruits, minerals. I also focused on improving my sleep, and I started making myself stop. And I literally mean stop. Stop and just laying in the grass and just watching the clouds type of stuff. I started using blue blocker glasses. There's this thing that correlates your thyroid with blue light intake. I also put a limit on myself in how much I use my phone. When I wake up, I normally would check my phone, be on Instagram, Twitter, already doing my she's, but that was really stressful. So I decided to only start using my phone from 9 a.m. and I get off at 8 p.m. And lastly, the gym was definitely non-negotiable. 2 weeks later, I retested, and the results will shock you. They even shocked me. My TSH, that was a 10, dropped to a 5.18 in just 2 weeks. I managed to drop my TSH low enough to stop taking medications.
At this point, you don't need any medication right now. And hopefully with this, with your good diet and things like that, it may kind of all resolve. It may be all behind you within a couple of months.
If food can do that in just 2 weeks, why the hell is nobody talking about this? What is actually happening? Why are we handing out lifelong drugs for problems that we can change for free? What if we've been treating the symptom and ignoring the root cause of all of this? So what changed? Our food, our lifestyle, and the system profiting off our decline. Ultra-processed foods make up for 60% of Americans' regular diet. Seed oils, additive, sugar. Look, we're being drugged by our diet. Kids are being raised by poison, and it shows. 74% of American teens can't even qualify to the military due to health problems. Testosterone levels in teenage boys are equivalent to those of 68-year-old men. Autoimmune diseases, ADHD, eczema, asthma. Now, everyone has them.
Look at the statistics. America and Mexico are the most obese and diabetic countries in the world. But the problem is politics, as always, isn't it? And the lobbying. The big business farmers, they pay the politicians to have their products subsidized. The medical journals, they're sponsored by the pharmaceutical industry. The medical colleges, the medical research is paid for by the pharmaceutical industry. So if the research is not in tune with the pharmaceutical industry, it doesn't get published.
The truths about these. The global pharmaceutical company, they've made $1.6 trillion in 2023. It's projected to hit $2.8 trillion by 2033. I don't want to be a negative Nancy, but here's the truth. The sicker you are, the richer they get. And we've seen this before. You have the Oxycontin franchise that turned pain into profit. You have Ozempic doing the same exact thing. They're getting rich by making people fat, and then they're like, here's a solution by making you skinny. Doctors don't get paid to ask what you eat. They get paid by keeping you coming back. This sounds dark, I know, but there's hope. People are starting to wake up everywhere I look. On the island, online, in real life, there is hope. Young people are lifting again. Communities are going back to basics, like growing food, getting sunlight, actually caring what's going into their bodies. It's not mainstream yet, but the cracks are showing. The old system is sick, but a new one is quietly being built. I'm not saying food is magic, but if 2 weeks of eating clean can move my thyroid halfway to normal, maybe we should look at our lifestyle instead of rushing into pills right away. You know, having the doctors ask the right questions. Like, what do you eat? Do you exercise? What's your working schedule like? If the doctor would have asked me that, he would have known that I'm on my computer literally 14 hours a day. All I really needed was a wake-up call. It was this wake-up call to start treating my food like fuel and not like pleasure, just like it's advertised everywhere else. Eating things that came from the ground and not the lab.